Thanks everybody for subscribing. Alright guys, so as you see right here in the background on the actual stand, so we're pretty much just about to just take it completely apart, complete disassembly. I do have a bunch of Ziploc bags I'm setting my nuts, bolts, you know, studs in, just so that way when it's time to assemble a motor, it's a lot more easy to go about it. And if I actually find a stud, bolt, nut that's actually stripped when I take it out, I can actually get that replaced, you know, as far as ordering it today. So that way when it's time to put the motor together, we got fresh nuts, bolts, and studs. Everything's good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead, take this thing apart, and pretty much just take you guys with me along the journey. So as you see already, I took the actual turbo manifold, and that is the intake manifold, off the engine when it was outside, just because it's a lot easier for me to transport this thing around on my dolly without, you know, two big bulky things on the side. So we already took those off. About to just start from the top to the bottom, take everything off the front, flip it over, take the sump off, and go from there, guys. If you look on the side, all these sensors and stuff, I'm actually gonna pull all the sensors off, so that way it makes it a lot more easier for the machine shop to do their thing, and I have my sensors in my possession. TJ, you know, is no sensors on this side unless you like put like a pressure sensor or something in on this side, or you know you got a GTE cylinder head and block, then you know on a GTE you probably got something on this side as far as pressure wise. Not sure this is a GE block, guys, give me a break. So go ahead, knock everything out the front, we go from there. All right, so you seen one of the bolts had fell down, gotta stop, try to fish that out. Hopefully I can find it. Poke all down in there, got it. All right, let's continue. Let's finish this up. As far as with this power stern pump, my power stern pump was making a lot of noise, so we most likely aren't going to run this anymore. But I am going to put all this together in one of my big Ziploc bags, which I have here. Just to sit it in. As far as all my bolts, and I might just sit this inside the tote, because this is all the stuff I'm going to actually power wash off. So yeah, let's scratch that. We are going to put all the bolts inside of this, but as far as the plate, the actual AC delete bracket, we're going to just throw that in there. And this is actually going to be trash, and I'll put I might just put this whole thing in the bag, just because I don't want to lose any of these bolts, and it's a little hard for me to actually, when it's time to put this the back together, I always have an issue with this one simple part right here. It looks so simple, but when there's all bolts just all over the place inside the Ziploc bag, it's just hard to keep up with. So I'm just going to take it off as a complete bracket and hold on to it until the new one comes in. So that'll be the plan for the day with that. And as you can see what I was saying, so check this out, because these are different sizes. These little, we'll call them like, I guess you call them like, oh, let me take this off right now, because that's gonna just make a mess. Sit that down here, let it drain out. So this actually goes behind the plate, and it's cool making a video because I can actually go back and look at the video. So these are actually spacers just to get this to come forward and hold on to your power stern pump so everything lines up. If you look, these are definitely different sizes. That's why it says a little bit hard for me to put this thing back together. So this is usually the smaller spacer versus this big spacer and that big spacer. Sorry, I just thought of a nifty idea. I'll put the spacers on the actual bolt it goes to and put some tape on it, so that'll work out perfect. Let's see. It's a little oily. I should probably wipe the bolt off, but I already got the tape going. Bam, you just set it in a Ziploc bag. Okay, when it comes to actually pulling this off, I'm going to use the actual bolts that came with it. You shouldn't do this. You should go and get another set of bolts just because you don't want to damage these. But since if you look at mine's are rusty and a little bit chipped, I am going to order new ones. It is what it is. Simple, just to drop an order in, order these, and we go from there. So let's get this thing off. Alright guys, even though I'm ordering new bolts for this, I'm still going to leave these in here. I'm not going to sit this in there with that junk just because I don't want these, I guess you would consider these like threads for the belt to lay on. I don't want to damage anything about this. I don't want to damage this at all. It's a little worn. It could be wiped down. That'd be cool. So I'll actually sit this where I actually have my bolts and stuff. The box I have my bolts and stuff for the motor sitting in, just because it should be safer in there than in there, and I'll just sit it inside a Ziploc bag. Alright guys, now we're at the timing belt. Now this is a very important part of your car, which everybody should know. If you don't know, this is pretty much the heart of your engine, besides like your internal wise. As far as external, this is like just call this the brain of your engine and whatnot. Alright, so long story short, before you take this off, you should already know to line everything up. I'm actually taking everything completely apart, so I'm not going to line anything up at all. I'm just going to take it completely apart. But if you're in the case where you're doing your timing belt, quick tip: this notch, little notch there, notch here on both cam shafts, cam gears, lines up with these two little indentations back here. When you turn your timing belt, when you turn everything, these two will turn, this will turn with it. It is a dot on this little backing plate where the oil pump is. You probably can't see mine's too good right there. You line everything up before you take it off, and you can actually mark the notch. Like, say, think about it, your notch is here. You'd actually mark the notch with a whiteout marker here, and then on here. That way, when it's time to put your timing belt on, if you're doing timing or just a water pump job, it's real easy for you to get it back on with no problems, and you know everything is lined up. But like I said, in my case, I'm not lining it up. We're just gonna take it off. Quick little tip real quick. This is a brand new tensioner for my timing belt. I'm not going to reuse this at all. But if you're in the gym and you do a timing belt, and you feel as though you want to use a new one, so what you can do, either use a C-clamp that you compress your brake pistons with, or use a vise. And you just press this in. You do it real slow. It's not a rush, because you will rupture it and it will leak. So you just compress it real slow like, and once the holes line up, you want to make sure you put your rubber it's a little rubber cover on it. If you don't have a little rubber boot, it's not the end of the world. I ran the car plenty of times without it. It's not gonna hurt anything. Just keep the dust and everything out, I guess. Just try to line it up, and you can't see it, but the holes are lined up perfect. So I do have a grenade pin, or slash release pin. So you just work it, work it, and bam, There you go. In your case, if you don't have a release pin / grenade pin, you can just use a small Allen key, and you should be good to go. So what you do, you just check the back end. Try to get this thing to come completely through. Gonna have to compress it just a little bit more. It's easier to me with a C-clamp, but this is right here in my face. So, oh yeah, you see it? Bam. It's completely through. That's how you want to see it, through and through. So if it's not all the way through here, don't even attempt it at all. But as long as it's all the way through, you should be good. And you look down in here. As long as you don't see any float down in there, you should be good to go. Like I said, this is brand new, but since everything going on the car is going to be new, I'm not even going to use this. I just hold on to this for pretty much as backup. FYI, if you're just taking the whole water pump off the whole complete assembly, if you just hit all the 12mm bolts, it's like one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The whole thing will come off. You don't even have to do these. I wouldn't undo these. If you're doing the whole water pump assembly, there's no need. You just do the big ones, the 12mm bolts, and it will take the pump completely off with ease. You'll be good to go. Alright guys, so now it is time to take the head off. So I still do that. I gotta take the camshaft gears off. That's nothing, just a 17, bop bop, hit it with a ratchet. That was me hitting him with a ratchet. Bop bop, hit him with a ratchet. Then we're gonna go ahead, take the cam caps off. I do have my workstation officially cleared off for now until I junkie it up again. Still do gotta get like a bigger toolbox, but this is good to go. I love this thing so far. So good. So we are gonna set everything out in order. Even though I know exactly how the cam caps and everything go, I would like to just sit it all down in order, because when I take the cylinder head off, I'm gonna sit the cylinder head down and stick the cam caps and camshafts inside the cylinder head, sit the valve covers on, we taking it to the machine shop just like that. Just like that, bro. So that way they can clean everything, check everything, and we know we are good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead, start knocking this out. Alright, so first pulling off the cam gears. Go ahead and pull these off, set them off to the side. Now we just taking off the can caps. Like I said, just do it from outside to in. I'm just breaking them right now. I'm not really, fully loosening them, because the camshaft will pop up if you don't, if you just loosen them all up at one time. Just go ahead, finish it up. Go ahead, get these cams up out of here. Alright, so now I'm just taking the cam caps off, sitting them out in order, so that way you know exactly how to put this thing back in. Just tapping on the number 1 cam cap, because that's held down with gasket seal. So I'm starting on the intake cam caps. You just do it the same exact way you did the exhaust, bro. All right, let's get the camshaft out. If it feel like it's stuck, just tap on it, open hand tap, and it'll pop right out. All right, guys, so you see the process to pull your camshafts out. Real simple, real easy. Disclaimer, if you have like performance camshafts or anything performance wise as far as internal, do not take them off like that. You probably should follow the directions Toyota give you to take those off, just because the actual camshafts are under a lot of pressure, and if you take it off that way and you do have performance camshafts like stage 2, stage 3s or whatnot, you are running risk of damaging something taking them off that way. This is pretty much for a stock cylinder head, stock block. Let's just say that. This is just if you got a stock 2J, stock 2J, 1J, you good to go doing it that way. And even if you have a GE VVTi, which is an interference motor, you're good to do it that way. It won't hurt anything. Just take it off from outer to inner. But when you're putting them on, you do want to follow the torque specs and the directions when installing those, because you will bend something or mess something up. So when you're putting it on, follow the directions. Taking it off the way I just did it, perfectly fine. You won't mess anything up, especially if you're taking it to the machine shop like me, because they're going to check everything. But the internals will be good to go. All jokes aside, the internals will be good to go. So now we just go ahead, pull these ARP studs out, and pull the cylinder head off, y'all. If this is your first time doing like ARP studs, you will most likely have to shave the walls down on your socket. This is a 12 point. I can't remember if it's a 12 or a 13, but the reason why I shaved it down to a thin wall socket is because I was in a crunch. This usually works. It has the sockets around for years and it's still good to go. So if you look down in here, a regular deep socket will fit down in this first one, but when it comes to these other ones, I don't know if you can tell the difference by eye, but that hole, this right here, this void is way bigger than this, and this is when the thin wall come into play. Yes, you can order a thin wall socket. It's just one of those, I didn't have one at the time when I made this, and it works. So it works. So let's just take the cylinder head off and see what we got going on underneath. Now when you're taking the cylinder head off, you definitely want to follow the directions. I'm about to run in the house and print out a bunch of paperwork on disassembling the engine, because I love to just have that right in front of my face. Because if you take this off out of if you take the cylinder head off out of sequence, out of order, as far as taking the bolts out slash studs, you will run a very high possibility of warping your cylinder head, and either it's pretty much not going to be any good. You're going to have to get it resurfaced and whatever the machine shop does to fix warp cylinder heads. So to avoid the headache and the extra $1, take the cylinder head off exactly the way I'm about to show you. All right, so I have my stack of paperwork. If you watch your channel, you know I'm more so like a fanatic with paperwork as far as diagrams, wiring diagrams, engine diagrams, period. I love it because this will actually save you from doing catastrophic failure before you even hit the road with your 2J. And you know, reading is fundamental. I printed out a bunch of stuff. This is the one we need. So that actual socket I showed you, I lied. Well, I didn't lie, because this is for the stock studs. So if you had stock head studs, it's a 10 millimeter bi-hexagon wrench. So it looked like pretty much an Allen key socket head. Probably can't see the difference, but that's the actual diagram you want to use. And I'll go ahead and just post up a picture of that, or you go in and screenshot it right now, because either ARP or stock cylinder head studs, this is how you take your cylinder head off every single time. This is the front of the engine. This is the rear of the engine. And I'll go ahead and write that down now for future references. So I'm going to put front, and we'll put rear. And yes, that makes a difference. So a quick trick that I always use, since I'm going to be doing my cylinder head most likely this way, I would usually take the paperwork and just flip it upside down, so that way you would not get it confused and mess anything up. Because if it's this way, come on now, this is the front engine, this is the rear. You look at my diagram, it's reversed, so it's easier just flipping it around. So I'll go ahead and sticky note this somewhere on the wall somewhere. But yeah, let's get into it. Hey guys, let's get a look. See, I got everything unloosened. Sorry, I kind of lost the footage to it, but it's all loosened, ready to pull off. Yeah, we should be good to go. All right, guys, let's get a look, see and see what's all going on. Already, I can tell the car should have been getting enough fuel by how black the actual piston cups are. So that's kind of a good thing. But looking at it, the bad part is I can already see cylinder 4 is chewed up. As far as the piston cup 4 is chewed up, if you look around the edges. The front 3 don't look bad at all. They look pretty fresh, so that's a good thing. Those are still good. But 4 is definitely messed up. 5 not too bad. 6 is chewed up exactly like number 4. All right, got everything taken apart. Cylinder head is just chilling off to the side. That looks good. So most likely the misfire. You look here, see the edges of it. Fresh. 1 is fresh. 2 is fresh. Just dirty. 3 is fresh. We still good. But when we get to 4, as you see, we gotta put this thing on 80-85 next go around, guys. So that's chewed up. I think this one's chewed up too. I think this the one that had like, yeah, it's like, you probably can't see, it's like a hairline crack in it right there. So yep, there it is. Pistons are no good. So, and it's a little bit of debris on the walls. Probably got to get this thing honed. I don't know. All right, so before I got too gun-ho, I'm like, block has damage. Definitely needs to be honed. Wonder if my cylinder head is okay. It's not okay. Cylinder head is not okay neither. My machine shop dreams have been demolished. So you see this here? All that damage here. Burnt up valves. Here. You already know the fronts were good. So, but then here too, all that's cracking and just too much heat, man. So when you have situations like pretty much when you run lean, this type stuff happens. So when I seen that gas line loose on the car, that probably was the main culprit for real of everything that happened. I don't even think it was an oil loss issue. I think everything just burnt up just because it just didn't have fuel pretty much in the combustion chamber. Pretty sure that's what happened. And taking the cylinder head to the machine shop for them to actually fix this damage, money-wise, is not even worth it. I have another cylinder head over there that's a non-VVTi, and I actually was leaning towards going VVTi with the car now. So VVTi might be in our best interest, and I just modified a Honda. It's not even that serious. It's not even that difficult. So as far as my plans on what we're going to do with the SC, we are going to still be N-A to T. Let's put that out there now. But as far as the cylinder head wise go, we might be doing the VVTi cylinder head. So y'all pretty much got to stay tuned to see actually what we're going to actually do with that. But yeah, so block's pretty much done. That has to be honed. That's pretty much built engine status now, because a 8.6 hone is not going to do it. It'd be an 8.6.5 or an 8.7. I don't know. It all depends on how the machine shop want to handle that. This here, to me, is not even worth fixing. It's just done. So I call it a quits with that cylinder head. I'm not going to toss it out because it is repairable. I'll just wrap it up and just set it to the side for now. So it is what it is, bro. I don't know.